Good evening. I almost said good morning. Good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Views from the 22 live on the scene YouTube page. We got Monday blues and overpaid views, whatever I used to call it. I can't remember what we used to call the show. That's how bad it is. Monday night blues and views. That's what it is. Vic Jr. on the line. Mo Schefter here. Vic, it's just me and you tonight. Dynamic duo. We got a couple things we got to talk about. Anything you want to say to the people before we get going?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why I haven't gotten a YouTube notification yet. So I'm hoping the people
I got mine.
are getting theirs. Yeah, I usually get it, but today so far nothing. So we are live here for sure. But yeah, man, it was a good Sunday. It was a very intriguing Sunday. Some plenty of storylines. Plenty of controversies. Some things we might talk about, time permitting. And then we got a division rivalry game tonight.
Indeed, we do.
And we'll determine, I guess, the importance level of this game. Because we like to talk about a lot of other things when it comes to the sport of football. That is never short of drama, man.
No.
Never short of drama.
No, it is not. And we certainly had plenty of it yesterday. Really all over the National Football League. I mean, granted, what we said was true about the two games that we talked about extensively yesterday. But I think you look across all those games, there was some drama everywhere. Starting in London, I mean, that game was real close. Andy Dalton came out. He performed better than what probably most people expected him to perform. And the Vikings are quietly 3-1. And I said to myself, I will not fall for the Minnesota Vikings tease.
For real.
And I've been, I haven't felt for it for the last 2 years. But here we are again with Minnesota looking like the biggest tease in football. And then you go over to Green Bay, where you thought, okay, Green Bay is figuring it out. They're going to be rolling. And at times yesterday, Green Bay's offense was super efficient. But then that lazy pick six, and it flipped the momentum. And all of a sudden, they were 3 seconds away from tying. Bailey Zappi? Sounds like a Toy Story character. They were 3 seconds away from Aaron Rodgers tying Bailey Zappi in Lambeau Field. The Sunday night game certainly had drama of its own. Seattle game, that had drama. But Vic, let's just instead of going across what we usually do, you know what? Let's save it. Anything you want to talk about in terms of the drama but let's save the meat for after the Monday night midnight views edition.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'll wait. I mean, because again, we talked about it before we went live. There's some quarterback controversies, unfortunately, right now. So,
okay. So let's get to a quick recap of yesterday's games. Started off, we got the Browns at the Falcons, turned into a surprisingly good game. 23-20, Falcons won that game. Safe to say that the Browns are in dire need of Deshaun Watson when he comes back. Jacoby is a very solid backup, but that's just who he is. Right. Commanders versus the Cowboys. Speaking of controversies. Speaking of backups, my God, Cowboys won that game 25-10, even though the Commanders had the much better uniforms yesterday. Seahawks and Lions 48-45. The first time in NFL history that a regular season game ends in that score. That's pretty interesting to me. You would have thought it would have happened. 48-45. It felt like we've seen that before.
I know.
But who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows? Titans and Colts. The Titans are Titans. I mean, there was no reason that game should have came down to the way it came down to. Derrick Henry was rolling. He should have kept rolling. But I don't know. We don't know what's going on in Tennessee. We will wait to see what happens over these next 4 to 6 weeks over there. Bears and Giants. Giants won that game 20-12. Shout out to Saquon Barkley. Shout out to the lab. Shout out to Progression. he looked fantastic yesterday. Vic?
Which one was that again?
Bears Giants.
Oh, with Saquon. Yeah, I mean, listen, he
Yeah.
leads the league now by 3 yards over Nick Chubb, who, you know, has been a much more consistent back over their career. They were both drafted in the same season or in the same draft. But Saquon is back, man. Saquon looks good so far. They're using him. They might have not used him as good as they could have against Dallas last week, but against the Bears this week, you know, he was outstanding again because he got the touches. And so far, he has come out of these games looking healthy, not on the injury report. So, I mean, whatever he's been doing with his body so far has been great, man. It's a long season. But, I mean, Saquon looks good. Saquon looks good.
He does. I'll be honest with you. There's times when I'm like, Saquon looks a little smaller this year. And to me, this is why I missed the lab, man. This is why we need the all-22 session, the all-22 film. Because I would love to see what exactly has improved in his game. And I would love to get even more detailed with it and try to go back and see how many running backs were able to improve their ball carrier vision. As, you know, like that's not a skill that you really see too many people improve or develop, I guess. It just seems like, you know what I mean? Almost like accuracy with quarterbacks. So it's
and I mean, listen, credit to the offensive line. They have been working on them. They have been using a lot of assets on them, and they've been doing well. Now, the pass blocking is still a little inconsistent, but when it comes to running the football, they have been able to develop some holes for him. He just looks more aggressive. He's going forward. He's not dancing as much as he used to. He's using a lot of contact.
Yeah. Jets and Steelers, QB controversy topic. Jets won that game. Steelers had no reason to lose that game. We'll get to why they lost that game, and we'll get to where the Steelers are going to go moving forward. But really, there was no reason for the Steelers to lose that game. But shout out to Zach Wilson. He had a spectacular fourth quarter, and he had one of those quarters where, again, you say, well, this is what this kid is supposed to look like if he puts it together. Anything you want to add to that, Vic? Because I know that's your boy.
No, I mean, he did have 2 picks, but in the fourth quarter, he came out balling. He looked comfortable. For somebody that was his first game back from injury and first game of the season, I mean, he was fantastic. So, I mean, I'm hoping he grows from it because, again, there's a lot of quarterbacks we'll talk about a little bit later that might be regressing. So, for Zach Wilson and the Jets, that's some fantastic news so far. It's week to week, though.
Yeah. Spoiler alert on the quarterbacks regressing. It's not Tom Brady. Bills and Ravens. Another game. This game we want to talk about extensively, so we'll come back to this one. Chargers, Texans. Chargers did what they had to do, won by 10. Cardinals, Panthers. Cardinals ended up winning that game. Vic, I don't know if there's anything you want to say in that game. To me, that game unfolded the way I expected it to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those situations where, Baker, where is he exactly? Again, like you said, we need the all-22. To kind of break down these different angles that we get to see in the play calling. Are the receivers running their routes, or is the quarterback just missing? Is the quarterback not accurate? Is the quarterback not seeing the field well? And so far, the Baker has one of the lowest QBRs, if not the lowest, I think, so far through week 4. So there's regression there. It is what it is.
Yeah. Broncos and Raiders. Raiders finally won a game. I am sticking to my Denver train. That they are going to be all right. But the Raiders got a much needed win. Speaking of going to be all right, Chiefs and Buccaneers. Buccaneers lost by 10. Shout out to the Chiefs. That offense is very efficient looking, and that is really a scary thing. Hopefully, they can keep building on it and they can remain consistent. For Tampa, they're going to be all right. Yeah, I don't think there's anything to overreact to them.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, I mean, it is what it is. They've been playing well. They ran into an offense that was very angry from a loss last week. They were able to get back on it. They had some revenge, like a feeling of revenge that they needed to get back from that Super Bowl. So, it is what it is, man. Like, I'm pretty sure it will be a closer game when they meet again. The Tampa defense will be ready because the offense looked good. So obviously the momentum the Chiefs took early, especially with that fumble loss in the kickoff, which was huge. So the Chiefs, again, were able to take that momentum early. But the offense looked efficient for the Bucs too. And like you said, there's quarterbacks regressing, but it ain't Tom Brady.
There is a stat somewhere, and I will pull it up if I find it. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like the team that recovers a special teams fumble or a special teams turnover, and I think a blocked field goal is included in that. The team that does that wins like 97% of the time.
Yeah.
So that's something that very intriguing. We talk about special teams a lot. We talk a lot about how special teams is, all three phases of the game. And that is something that is very, very telling for that reason.
No, and especially they were able to score in like 2 plays.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so like it was a quick turnover, quick strike. Like all of a sudden, your energy is sapped for a second there. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to come back and fight through that now.
Right.
So Tampa Bay, I'm sure, would have loved to strike first, to score first.
Absolutely.
So killed it right there.
But it's like, I don't care if you got LeBron James. If you walk into Stephen Curry's court and the Warriors and you down 20, I don't care who you are. It's gonna be an uphill climb no matter what happens. Especially when he was rolling the way 15 was rolling. When 15 is feeling it,
it's a wrap.
It's different. It's different. Now again, he still has that thing of he's gonna feel it in spurts of the game, and not too many where he's just feeling it for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Something to keep an eye on moving forward.
And at one point, because I don't really like listening to the commentary, but apparently they spoke to Andy Reid. You know how they speak to to the teams and stuff before the game. He said that this is a better defense than they saw in the Super Bowl, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I think that Super Bowl team was a lot more efficient in the pass rush, but I don't think it was this. I don't think it's the same defense. Like you're not gonna get that consistency every single year. You got to find different ways to be able to stop teams and create turnovers. And I just don't think that especially the playoff Bucs for that season, this is definitely not the same defense.
It definitely isn't. For one, you don't have Sue, you don't have JPP. Like that's off exactly. Rip. And then for two, right, you're trying to find a way to implement Keanu O'Neal into your defense, which I totally understand. If that player is on my roster, I want him on the field in some capacity. There's no doubt about it. But Bills, Ravens. Let's talk about that game real quick, Vic. To me, just off the top, it was one of the most impressive wins I've seen by this Buffalo Bills football team.
Yep.
It was still a formula that I don't like, and still not a formula that I think is sustainable to win them games when it matters most. However, with that being said, number one, they've got to find ways to conserve Josh Allen. Some of it, as I'm sure the All-22 will show, some of it is Josh Allen probably just not making the proper read, or he has a tendency to be indecisive, and that's why he's scrambling for some of these yards and putting himself in that position. But there is a missing philosophy for that offense, and they need to find it. But for them to stick through it and fight through the mud against a team that was punching them in the mouth, snap after snap. Me and Jay were talking about it yesterday. Baltimore thoroughly won the line of scrimmage throughout the first half and the third quarter, and really throughout most of that game. But early on, they were thoroughly manhandling the line of scrimmage versus the Buffalo Bills. And for them to stick through it and get it done and outfight them, a lot of credit goes to Buffalo. with that being said, players win them, coaches lose them. And that is what happened yesterday in Baltimore. I don't care what his explanation is. This is one of those moments where those analytics are going to bite you in the butt because you're looking at them as some revolutionary thing rather than identifying it as just a product of today's technology. That's all analytics is. It's not a revolutionary scheme to the game. It's not a revolutionary formula to win games. All it is a product of today's technology. That's all analytics is. Because if yesterday football common sense said you kick the MFing field goal, and to me, I don't care what anybody says, the only message received is you didn't think your defense can hold. That is the only message that was received. But either way, you kick the field goal and you let them figure out who they are. You let them figure out how to go win this game. You don't just give it to them. You gave it to them.
Right. I mean, and you ended up putting more pressure on your defense. You know what I mean? So, like it didn't make no sense. I mean, you look at the box score here, like you said, Josh Allen, he had 11 carries for 70 yards. A lot of it must have, I mean, from what I remember, most of it was from scrambling. So, I mean, if that's a situation where he isn't reading, he isn't making good decisions and he has to scramble, then so be it. But to call running plays for him, you got to kind of bring that down. But the Bills fought, man. The Bills certainly fought. The defense was able to hold the Ravens to 0 points in the second half. So, I mean, like you said, kicking that field goal would have been better off since your offense was basically shut down the whole second half. Just kick the field goal then, you know what I mean? And
pretty much
try to see if you reset in overtime, you get a certain type of momentum or something like that. But at least putting points on the board. So did Lamar miss some plays? He probably did. The All-22 was sure as heck be able to tell us that story as well. But we can't always go after Lamar when Josh Allen as well probably was missing some things too. Now, Josh Allen, we think is a better quarterback, obviously. But again, if they're both missing things, they're both missing things, and they both have to be treated equally. It is what it is with that. I think that's all I have. Like I said, that second half for the Ravens not being able to score was huge. Was huge for them, and that's something they have to figure out.
Yo, Josh, shout out to everybody in the comment section. I don't know why I got baseball on my mind, man. Shout out to the Dish. Shout out to Aaron Judge. Because when me and Vic were talking, Vic, how many times did I say Giants versus 49ers? I mean, I said Giants versus Rams or whatever I said. I just got the Giants on my friggin' mind. I got baseball on the brain. Diamonds are forever. Shout out to everybody in the comment sections. Carlton Scott says special teams are very important. That's why they're special, no doubt about it. And then Dennis King. Dennis, I don't want to hear what the Ravens contingency is saying, okay? But I will address he went for it because that defense can't stop anything. At the end of the day, it's 20-20. So obviously the defense was making some stops. It wasn't 51-52. It wasn't 48-45. It wasn't like it was the Detroit Lions offense or Geno Smith's offense. But it was just like it was 20-20. It was a dogfight. And in a dogfight, you take what's ugly. You take the ugly points. You take the ugly points. Always. It was a dogfight. And John Harbaugh, listen, I got so much respect for John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. They are hands down one of the best coaches of the last 25 years. No doubt about it. They are in that discussion. In modern day football, in today's NFL, they're top 5. Both of them. There's no denying that. It does not mean that they are void of criticism, and it does not mean that they are void of flaws. And one flaw they have is they make – you know what, though, Vic? I don't know why this just popped in my brain. A lot of these great coaches have these moments. Bill had these moments. Greg Popovich had his moments. Andy Reid had his moments. Phil Jackson had his moments. They've all had their moments. You know, I'm sure Jay could come on here and tell you times where Coach K had his moments. You know what I'm saying? All these great coaches have these moments where they're just doing a little too much. But to me, Harbaugh and Tomlin consistently are making these decisions. Now, again, they're great coaches, but yesterday was another one of those situations where he failed them. He put his, and I heard people were criticizing Lamar for throwing an interception and not throwing it away. Hello, he was trying to win the game. You play to win the game. He was trying to win the game. I'm not going to fault him for trying to make a play when his coach put him in a position to fail. That I am no way going to criticize any of those players in that situation.
I mean, you know what was funny too, because you did say you did not want to hear what the Ravens Nation wanted to say these right now, but it is funny like that they're actually calling for Sean Payton to be head coach now, and that they might be trying to limit Lamar Jackson from not getting another MVP because it's going to cost them more money. So, yeah, the Ravens contingency, the Ravens Nation.
Let me tell you something. You remember when all those people raided Area 51? I saw a lot of Baltimore license plates, so we'll leave it at that. So the FCC won't let me be because we got a little QB controversy because we just wouldn't be much to talk about if there wasn't a good old QB controversy. So, Vic, we got, to my knowledge, 2 situations to talk about. One of them might not be a controversy. The other one started off as a joke, but now all of a sudden it has skipped to another level. And he is a big reason why, if you caught that ball. Let's talk about, first of all, we understand that, number one, there is no Patriots controversy. There is no controversy on quarterback for the New England Patriots. Number 2, is there really a controversy whether if Mitch Trubisky is involved in being benched? That's not a controversy. Do I think it should be Kenny Pickett? Do I think Kenny Pickett is ready? No. Do I think they should stay with Mitch Trubisky? Yes. But either way, I'm not going to waste my energy and my thinking capacity on whether it should be Mitch Trubisky or Kenny. Throws a lot of Pickets. Vic?
Yeah, I mean, listen, bro. At this stage, like, you already know what Trubisky is going to bring to your team. You know he's going to be very limited. So why not give it a shot? You know, the kid was obviously thrown into a pit of fire yesterday, for lack of a better term, and he threw a couple picks. There was some that jumped off of people's hands, but again, I think, you know, you give the kid an opportunity to start games now, to practice more, take more reps throughout the week. At the very least, you have a situation where this kid, who is very mobile, can get out of the pocket, can create some plays. You know what I mean? So, like, Trubisky is just, I mean, he's just there, you know. So, like, he's not great in the pocket. He's not great outside the pocket. You know what I mean? So you give the kid an opportunity to do something for this team that, unfortunately, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you don't want to attribute them to rebuilding, but that's kind of where they're at right now.
Yeah. Plus, I don't think they're going to have any prosperity until they change it back to Heinz Field and not Acrisure Stadium.
Oh, my God.
But you can be sure of that. Now, let's talk about what we got to talk about. Vic, is there a QB controversy in Dallas?
Oh, you want me to start? You're not going to say anything yet?
I'm asking you.
Oh, man, listen. You know, it's funny. I talked to some of the Cowboy fans that I'm very close, you know, that are close to me. They have some concerns, but they also have some. They're also very enthusiastic for the future of this season. They think that even with Cooper Rush, they can kind of play a more efficient offense. Now, the problem is that, and I asked them that, is the efficiency because of the quarterback or because of the coaching staff? When you get in a situation where you pay a quarterback so much money because you think he's at a certain level that he's maybe not at, he's probably lower, he's probably, can't do the things that you think he can do or that he's flashed at times, then you got to kind of dial back the way you call plays. And I think that since the Cowboys did that, because they're going to their second quarterback, they're calling more efficiently, they're calling more running plays, they're getting the running backs more involved, they're calling plays that are shorter distances, short to medium routes.
Yes.
Then why don't you do that for your starting quarterback?
Facts.
And then you throw downfield. You get the defense to kind of take a couple steps forward. Yesterday, the Commanders looked like they committed to stopping the run. Like they sold out for the run, and Cooper made them pay. The rookie left tackle that took over for Tyron Smith, forgetting his name right now. I think he is a Smith as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Has been playing ridiculous football for them right now. So there is protection there. You know what I mean? So why don't you do that when your star quarterback comes back, who's supposed to be the biggest leader, the guy that everybody looks up to? Why are you not doing that to protect him?
Right.
Run the damn football. Use your running backs. You got two very solid running backs. You got a very solid receiver and a tight end who is great in short to intermediate routes. Execute. Use that and execute it. Then we'll see what it is. But right now, there's a lot of people saying that keep Cooper Rush. And shout out to Miss Kelly Lyons. That's my queen right there. She's one of the first ones to bring me into the Petty Network and accept me and love me for who I am. Okay, Mo. So shout out to her.
Hey. I was one of those people too now.
You guys were next. She's back in 2016. Like, listen, if they did it to Tony, why can't we do it back to Dak? The world has a way of coming back and returning.
Amen to that.
And so I don't know what should the Cowboys do, sir?
So to me, it's like you said, right? Similar how we talked about with Doug Peterson and then the Nick Foles Carson Wentz situation. Like, this is what this Cowboys offense is supposed to be.
Yes.
This is how this Cowboys offense is supposed to run. So why aren't you doing that when Dak is there? I think Cooper Rush is a fine backup quarterback.
Yes.
I cannot logistically say that he is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
Absolutely.
Like, at the end of the day, obviously, number one, Dak's a better athlete. Number two, Dak has a stronger arm. Number three, Dak has a greater range within this offense.
Right.
So if I'm Mike McCarthy, if I'm this Cowboys coaching staff, there is no reason for me to approach any game plan different whenever Dak comes back, because this is who he is. Dak has to play within a certain parameters of the philosophy of his strengths, which that offense caters to. Yes. But when they step out of it, and Mike's like, oh, I remember that time it was 2nd and 12, and I called this for Aaron Rodgers, and he got it. That ain't Aaron Rodgers. That ain't even the number 4 you coached before Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna say his name, okay? Because he's just gonna be called the welfare king. But Mike has to go. This is who this Cowboys offense needs to be, and I think it would be absolutely ludicrous to think when Dak is ready to come back that the Cowboys are going to roll with Cooper Rush. That's just not happening.
Yeah, I don't think so either. You know, and there's ways of looking it up. You know, we can go to the advanced analytics. I'm pretty sure it will show, and I have not checked this, but I'm pretty sure it will show that Dak has had to throw with more air yards, meaning he's had to throw downfield more, complete more passes downfield. We can check how many attempts have been taken more downfield. Now, could it be him? It could be him, but it could also be the way they're calling plays. So if there's more balls being thrown downfield than there is now with Cooper Rush, then you kind of have to talk to Dak and say, listen, we're going to dial some things back. You got to talk amongst yourself as a coaching staff and say to yourselves, we got to dial some things back to protect our biggest investment right now.
No doubt.
So
no doubt about it.
I expect him to be starting soon. If he comes in and you do those things in that offense and he fails, then you have a situation where Cooper Rush may deserve to get more playing time.
Okay. Fair enough. We got a game tonight. Let's wrap it up, Vic. We got a game. I don't know, man. This game, like, when they play later on this season, I'm gonna have a lot more to say about this game. Right now, I think both these teams, we're just not sure of which one is gonna come out week to week. You got 49ers, who now Jimmy's in there. They're still trying to get healthy. They're trying to figure out some things. George Kittle's still getting into the groove of everything. Their offensive line, they're still trying to figure out some things there. Defensively, there's a lot going on in San Francisco. On the flip side, for the Rams, Super Bowl hangover. Like, it is a thing. It exists. It is real. Just because we didn't see it out of New England doesn't mean we're not going to see it out of other teams. We saw it out of the Eagles. We saw it out Denver for different reasons. We didn't see it out of Seattle, but Seattle, after they lost that Super Bowl, then you started to see it. You know, you see that the Giants, it happened to the Giants, it happened to the Saints, it happened to the other Colts team, the Steelers. It happened. It's something that happens. So just who are these teams going to be?
Right.
We really don't know yet until we see where they're at in a couple weeks and then a couple more weeks after that. But as far as tonight's game is concerned, I do think it's a little more important for San Francisco to win this game. It's a little more important for San Francisco to say, hey, don't forget about us early in the season. So not saying it's do or die for either team, but this is going to be a huge game that impacts the season later on. I would like to see San Francisco win this game. I really would. So I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to go 23-20 San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback a little bit of what you spoke before that, you know, again, it's something that we spoke about with the Bucs defense. You know, you lose Von Miller if you're the Rams. There's another name that I think, forgetting right now, that they lost off of that defense. So your defense is not the same. The offensive line has been regressing every year. And you also don't have the captain anymore, and Andrew Whitworth playing left tackle for you. So your offensive line is different. So basically, you're a different football team. Robert Woods is no longer there. Odell Beckham is no longer there. So not only you're different in the trenches, but you're different in the skill positions too. So there's definitely going to be a hangover there. There's also the rumors of Matthew Stafford having a pitcher's elbow situation.
Yes.
Situation where you only see, pitchers have in their elbows. So, you know, how extensive is that? How big is that situation? There's many, many questions when it comes to the Rams. As far as the 49ers, Trent Williams is out for a couple weeks, unfortunately. And we saw how when he, you know, left that game a couple weeks ago, how that turned out for the 49ers. So, you know, is that going to be a problem now against this Rams defensive line in which they will use Aaron Donald to line up against anybody, your weakness. So that's going to be tough because, you know, I think Jimmy is still trying to figure himself out, trying to knock off from rust. I'm hoping because if not, then they might miss Trey Lance after all.
Yeah.
So Jimmy definitely has to pick it up. Jimmy definitely has to pick it up. And hopefully they start today by protecting him and giving him some time to pass.
Amen. Pass protection for a quarterback like Jimmy G is, I mean, it's night and day for a quarterback like Jimmy. It really is. Some breaking news here. Albert the Machine Pujols has hit number 703 and has officially moved past Babe Ruth. He just hit it downtown Pittsburgh not too long ago. So shout out to Albert Pujols, one of the greatest athletes of our time, of our childhood. And just shout out to him. Right? He is one of those guys you could just tell the younger generation, hey, that's how you do it. So shout out to Albert Pujols. Shout out to Aaron Judge as well. He's still going for it. Hopefully he gets it. You definitely always got to root for greatness. If you're not rooting for greatness, wake up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror and say, what is wrong with me? Yes. Shout out to Vic Jr., my brother. Shout out to The Dish. They will be going live. I think Stoppage Time FC has something going on as well. So make sure you are locked in, notifications on. Views for the 22 will be back Thursday. But tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we got The Dish, Stoppage Time FC. Make sure you are locked in. Enjoy the games. See you in the thread. Mo Schefter, Vic Jr., The Scene. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. We love you. Take us home, Vic.
22. Thanks for support, everybody.